Hawaii, California. It is a tough job being a professional golfer. I tell you what, Lauren Shehadi here for CBSSports.com, previewing the Bob Hope Classic, doing so with our golf columnist, Steve Elling. Steve, how do I get that gig? I'm practicing my short game. Tiger Woods is supposed to help me. He's in D.C., he's all busy.
You could always caddy or go to work for, a broadcast network. You'd have to go outdoors, though, and you'd have to wear sunscreen, and you wouldn't get to sit in an air conditioning room trying to glean nuggets of information from guys like me.
That's a tough job, let me tell you what. All right, what are we expecting from the field, Steve? The highest-ranked golfer, Steve Stricker. Talk to me about the level of play at the Bob Hope.
Yeah, the Bob Hope is, it's kind of a shame. Here the PGA Tour's finally got a week where they don't have to butt up against NFL football. And they've got their weakest field of the entire spring. This is pretty much the case last year. It's definitely the case again this year. Nobody from the top 15 in the world rankings. Anthony Kim, who actually went to high school in La Quinta, California, right there in Palm Springs, withdrew yesterday, leaving them with nobody in the top 10. It's a rough deal. It's a 90-hole tournament, 5 days. It starts Wednesday. And for the guys that are playing in Hawaii, you're looking at a 6-hour plane ride to California, a short week where, you're playing 5 days and the tournament's going to start on Wednesday. And this year they added a new golf course to the rotation. They play it on 4 different golf courses. So, if you're like a first-year player or a second-year player and you're in that deal, you're coming from Hawaii, you're flying all the way across the country and and trying to get some practice rounds in and some familiarity on those golf courses, it's impossible, So, small wonder that they don't get much in terms of star power, that a lot of the guys play that Mercedes Championship and then the Sony in Hawaii and then just go home for a while. It's add it all up, and the Bob Hope tournament is on life support.
Steve, you mentioned Anthony Kim dealing with a sore shoulder. Was it golf-related?
Yeah, this time I think it was golf-related. He's had a few over the last 6 months
that haven't been.
No horseback
riding?
Yeah, he hurt his jaw horseback riding. I'm trying to remember here off the top of my head. I think he sprained an ankle walking down the stairs where he thought he was on the bottom stair, and he wasn't on the bottom stair. And then he made himself so sore he could hardly play last fall by taking batting practice at Fenway Park with the Boston Red Sox as part of kind of a publicity stunt thing during the FedEx Cup playoffs. So he's young, and he's still got a lot to learn about some things. So this is mostly precautionary. I think he'll probably be ready to play next week if he wants to.
Young kid these days, right, Steve? All
yeah.
right, let's move away from the Bob Hope, start looking at the Ryder Cup. One of Europe's biggest heroes looking like a potential selection for team captain. Will Colin Montgomery be it?
It's interesting how it's all transpired over there, and there's been kind of an undercurrent of sketchiness to it. They had a meeting last week during the tournament in Abu Dhabi where a 15-player panel was empowered to start nailing down who their captain was going to be. It looked heading in like it was going to be Jose Maria Olazabal, who has decided that he wants to try to play and see if he can earn a spot on the team. He wants to see whether he's still good enough or whether he should serve as the captain. Well, they don't want to wait that long. They don't want him to have 2 months to play and take the wait-and-see posture. They want to name a guy. So it ends up, after much discussion, Sandy Lyle, Ian Woosnam, names that were kicked around, and then they end up settling on Monty because they decide they don't want anybody over age 50 as a captain anymore after the disaster with Nick Faldo last time around. So, they start heading in Monty's direction. Lo and behold, one of the sports gambling books over in the UK, where those things are on seemingly every street corner of every hamlet and burg, the odds on Monty overnight dropped down to like he's the favorite. So somebody on that committee spread the word, and somebody started doing some insider trading and gambling on all this, and putting money on Colin Montgomery as being as the logical pick to be the next Ryder Cup captain. There is a betting line on that thing. And so the European Tour is now going to have to start looking into who leaked it, how it got out there, something that could happen really only in the UK, where sports gambling is been decriminalized, and you can pretty much do it. Like I said, it's like easy as walking into a 7-Eleven over there. So there's been kind of a weird taint to what everybody assumes will be Montgomery's announcement, which should come next week in Dubai.
We'll see if he'll be the man for the job of introducing the U.S. Naval Glee Club, Tiger Woods. How do you think he did? He kind of stayed away from the political arena a bit.
Yeah. It certainly wasn't a ringing endorsement of any particular party or candidate, which doesn't surprise me one iota. Tiger, I think people assume that the guy is holding back on his political opinions because he's afraid it will hurt him financially. That may be a part of it because, if you pick a side, you're going to alienate a certain faction of the public. That's the risk you take. I'm not so sure the guy's got strong political opinions. I mean, I'm sure, like most of us, he probably votes with his pocketbook, so he skews conservative. And this is just an educated guess, but frankly, why would anybody care what Tiger Woods thinks and who he voted for? I mean, the guy dropped out of college after 2 years. I would rag on Tiger about that to his face. And does he know any more about the election or anything than the rest of us who studied up on it? No, he doesn't. So ragging on the guy for not taking a political stance, maybe he just doesn't feel like he knows enough about the subject matter to crawl that far out on a limb.
Perhaps he just lets his game do the talking. Steve Elling, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it as always.
See you next week.
All right, and see you next week. Everything Golf right here on CBSSports.com. I'm Lauren Shehadi. See you next time.